FRPMC. Today we will be discussing about the examination of jugular venous pulse or JVP. Okay, for that we will be needing a subject, a couch, a torch, measuring tape and a scale. The term JVP refers to jugular venous pulse or jugular venous pressure. So in the neck we have jugular veins, right? So these jugular veins drain the blood from the head and they are joined to the superior vena cava and the right atrium without any intervening valves. The external jugular vein lies lateral to the sternocleidomastoid muscle. It is more superficial and visible than the internal jugular vein. However, the external jugular vein can be compressed when it enters the thorax, so cannot be relied upon the access for JVP. You get this point? That we will not rely on external jugular vein. Instead, we will be relying on the pressures in internal jugular vein. The pressure in the right atrium is an important indicator of cardiac or pulmonary disease, as the right atrium communicates directly with the right internal jugular vein, and the pressure within the vein provides an accurate indication of the right atrial pressure. What are the normal range? Range is around 7, it should be less than 7 mm Hg, because the mean pressure in the right atrium is normally 9 mm Hg, as the sternal angle is approximately 5 centimeters above the right atrium, so the normal jugular venous pulse is less than 4 centimeters above the sternal angle or 9 centimeters above the right atrium. Okay, so 9 mm Hg means millimeters of mercury, or 7 mm Hg or 9 centimeters of water. The procedure for recording of JVP is that you allow the patient to lie down on the couch, you brief the patient, and then you take the consent and explain him the procedure. Ensure that there is adequate lighting, and then you adopt a position on the right side of the subject. The position of the subject should be at a 45-degree angle, and there should be a pillow under the head. You now ask the patient to turn his face on the left side. Now observe the level of the jugular venous pulsation just above the clavicle on the right side. Measure the vertical distance between the sternal angle and the highest visible point on of the pulsation on the neck, the most cardinal point, all right? And now measure the distance. It should come less than 4 centimeters. And again, that we know that the right atrium lies 5 centimeters below the sternal angle, so we will be adding the recorded reading with 5. So that will give you the exact calculation of your JVP. If it is difficult to see the jugular venous pulsation, you can take a torch and shine a bright light directly onto the patient's neck, so that the pulsations are clearly visible to you. Okay, even if you're not sure about that the pulsations are coming from the arterial origin or they are of venous origin, then you can palpate your carotid artery, which is medial to the sternocleidomastoid muscle. And there is a difference. You can palpate the artery and you cannot palpate the vein. You can see the pulsations in the vein and you cannot see the pulsations in the carotid artery. And there is a very high volume of blood in the artery, and you can very well appreciate the pulse in the carotid artery. Okay, even then also, if you're not able to see the pulsations, then you go to the right upper quadrant of the abdomen, you press the right upper quadrant of the abdomen, and then there is a transient increase in the venous pressure, which results in increase in the internal jugular vein, and the pulsations become more prominent. So this reflex is called as hepatojugular reflex or abdominojugular reflex. Oh, you know that on the right side of the upper quadrant, right upper quadrant, there is a very vital organ lying there. Your liver is lying there. So, okay. Now I would like to tell you about the pulsations. How the pulsations occur. Like what are the A waves, what are the A, C, B waves, and the X and Y descents. So there are upward deflections and downward deflections. You can see in the diagram which is given over here in the picture that there is an A wave, there is a C wave, and there's a V wave, which are upward deflections. And then you can see a X descent and a Y descent, means a downward deflection. So when do these waves appear? These waves appear when the atria contracts, your A wave appear. All right? And because of the contraction of the ventricle, you know what happens when the ventricles are contracting? The tricuspid valve, which is present between the right atrium and the right ventricle, it bulges upwards. And this creates a pressure in the right atrium and then in the superior vena cava and then your internal jugular vein. And similarly, we feel the pulsation in the vein. All right, so this C wave appears because of the bulging of the tricuspid valve, because of the ventricular contraction. Okay, now V wave is appearing because of the passive atrial filling. All right. Now, why does this X descent appear and why does this Y descent appear? The X descent is appearing because of the atrial relaxation. And then you see after A, there is a slight descent and then the C wave appear. Means the atria is slightly relaxing and then because of the tricuspid valve bulging and ventricular contraction, the C wave appears. All right. And then suddenly you can see a deep X descent. You can call it X dash also, and this is because of now the valve which was bulging upwards is coming downward now. There's the downward movement of the tricuspid valve with the ventricular contraction. This causes a deep X descent, or you can say X dash. So now the V wave, again, I told you about the V wave, that this is because of the passive atrial filling. And when does this Y descent appears? This is because of the complete atrial emptying while the tricuspid valve is open. So because of the opening of the tricuspid valve, the V wave appears. All right. So we have discussed about the clinical importance. We have discussed about the normal physiological waves that appears in JVP, and I'll be telling about the clinical importance also. When do you find raised JVP? Means it has a prognostic value in cardiac and pulmonary diseases, right? So you remember this when there's a heart failure, which is mostly of the right side when the JVP is raised. Against constrictive pericarditis, JVP increases on inspiration, and this is a very important sign called Kussmaul sign. And there's a condition called cardiac tamponade. And when there's fluid overload like in renal diseases, and also in superior vena cava, when there are no pulsation felt, but just the veins in the neck are engorged. Okay, Acha, these are a few points that you should be very careful about while performing your JVP. Is that right jugular vein should be used for assessing JVP. And both sides should not be examined simultaneously. And you have to gently palpate the vein. These are a few relevant questions, students, which you have to cover yourself, and you have to find out the answers yourself. And if you find any difficulty, you can ask me anytime. You can email me, or we can discuss in the tutorial also if you find it difficult.
Students, the patient is lying comfortably on the bed and he should be at 45 degrees angle. As you all know, now we have done this so many times that we have to approach the patient from the right side, and you have to meet and greet the patient. अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आपका मैं थोड़ा सा मुआयना करना चाहती हूँ, आपकी इजाज़त है?
जी जी बिल्कुल।
Okay, after that ask the patient to move the head on his left side. Why? Because of course we are approaching from the right side and we are here to locate the pulsation in the right internal jugular vessel, vein. Okay, so if you see it clearly here, the pulsation can be seen. As I told you that over here we have a strong muscle of the neck, the belly of sternocleidomastoid muscle. Just lateral to it lies your external jugular vein, and over here lies your internal jugular vein, means just lateral to it. All right? And I also told you that we will be recording, we always record the pulsation in the internal jugular vein. Why? Because it is directly connected with your right atrium, as you can see here. So we go and we will mark the most prominent point, which is coming around over here. Okay, students, I also told you one thing. To confirm that this is a vein and not an artery, you will need to palpate it, and veins are not palpable. And if you palpate the carotid, which lies medial to sternocleidomastoid muscle, you will be able to palpate it very well, and the pulsation which are felt in the carotid are different from the pulsations that are appearing in the vein. This is one method, and the other method I told you is about the upper quadrant hepatojugular reflex. You go to the upper quadrant of the abdomen, which is over here, and you press it. If you press it over here, suddenly the pulses in the internal jugular or external jugular will become prominent. So now, as I told you that this is the mark, this is the cardinal mark which is showing the pulse. Here we will be measuring the pulse. This is the highest point. You take your angle of Louis. This is the prominent landmark. You put your scale over here. Take this measuring tape and measure with the cardinal pulsation. Okay, it is coming here up to 2 centimeters. So if you add 5 centimeters and 2 centimeters, the sum is 7 centimeters, which is the right atrial pressure and your recording for JVP.